Let's head back to the days of fun. Just watch the podcast until it's done. Thanks for tuning in to Pop Ninja.
Welcome to the Pop Ninja Podcast, where we reminisce about the pop culture of the 70s, 80s, and beyond. From bell-bottom jeans to parachute pants. From Panama Jack shirts to members-only jackets. From Smurfs and Scooby-Doo to Thundar the Barbarian. If you had a Rubik's Cube, wore a Swatch watch, was crazy about Max Headroom, or ever wondered who shot JR, then this podcast is where you will feel right at home. Now, jump in the DeLorean time machine and join your hosts, Lisa and Patrick, as they take you on a pop culture adventure through the greatest decades of all time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pop Ninja. This is our annual Halloween video episode that wraps up our season each year. So I'm Patrick Bennett. And joining me over Zoom is Lisa Everetts. Hey, Lisa.
I'm in my evil lair. You forgot. I'm in my evil lair for sure. It's Halloween.
And if you don't recognize me, I'm Superman. Oh, wait.
And I'm Batgirl.
I'm not Superman. I'm the Flash.
And I'm Batgirl. No, I'm Halloween.
Flash and Batgirl.
Yeah.
Anyway, like we do every Halloween, we talk about a couple of scary movies that we like. And this year, I'm going to let Lisa kick it off with her movie. Lisa, you want to tell us what you got?
We got Halloween Part 2. See the two?
Halloween Part 2.
Can you actually even see me? Can you see
Cool.
that?
What do you want to tell us about Halloween?
Part 2.
Part
Okay.
2.
Part 2. See, I did the 2. Okay. 2 and 2. I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay. I watched it last night just so I could be, up to date on it. Okay. Even though I've seen it about 500 times. So, I don't know why, but when we've done our Halloween episodes, I've done Halloween, and I think I did Halloween 3. Instead of doing them in sequence, I'm doing them all around, but I'm getting back to Part 2 because actually Part 2 I think might be my favorite.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This man, he's not human.
Universal Pictures presents Halloween 2, More of the Night He Came Home.
Who is it?
There was nothing within him, neither conscience nor reason, that wasn't even remotely human. This is some kind of a joke. I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight. You don't know what death is.
Janet, go tell Mr. Garrett we're having trouble with the phones.
There is no place to hide. He will always find you.
What's this?
It's a Celtic word. It means the Lord of the Dead.
Mr. Garrett?
Halloween 2. More of the night he came home.
Halloween 2 starts exactly after the first film. Okay, the first film was filmed in 1978, but Halloween Part 2 wasn't filmed until 1981. So there's like a almost 3-year gap. I see your doggy. He's going to get you. Okay. So, but and you can kind of really tell. Like, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't really look the same in Part 2. You know, like I don't even know if she is wearing a wig or what. You know, but she does not look like she did at the end of the first one. So, but they have most of the same actors are in it. Donald Pleasance is back in it as Dr. Loomis. Charles Cyphers is in it as the police chief. You know, and so it mainly takes place. Do you see what's going on? Can you see what's going on?
I can feel what's going on. He's right here in my lap.
You should keep that. That is adorable. Don't edit that, okay? Keep it. He's like, who is that masked man?
I'm Batman.
Oh my God. Can you see? Can you see through? I mean, is that a Ben Cooper?
It is.
Okay,
It's a reproduction of the Ben Cooper costume from the 70s and 80s.
Holes of your eyeballs, like, you know, is it painful to wear?
No, it's got foam inside, like pieces of foam.
Oh, to keep it from.
It's not. Yeah, it's not as bad as the originals. This came out last year. Spirit Halloween stores, they reproduced the original Ben Cooper costumes, and they put out a bunch of DC characters and Star Wars characters. So, and they're adult sizes, so it's pretty cool.
Man, I should go over there. You should have told me that before now. I didn't know what to do.
Well, this was last year.
I haven't been in Spirit Halloween in years, so maybe I need to go back. That's last year, you say?
Yeah, they probably have them now.
They probably still kept them around. Probably have some left. Probably have leftovers. This is the second year. That's Batman Part 2. That's Ben Cooper Part 2. Oh yeah. Okay. So I really love Halloween Part 2, and it's still done by John Carpenter, and Deborah Hill wrote it, and it's very creepy to me because of the whole hospital thing. The whole thing's mainly filmed in the hospital, and Michael Myers is still out to get Laurie, and I don't know if I should. I mean, everybody has have seen it, so like I don't, there is a key piece of why he's after her. They find out in the Part 2 part, but there's some really cool scenes, like in the hot tub scene, where the girl. I remember the first time I saw Part 2, and they're turning up the temperature in the hot tub, and that girl's face is peeling off.
Yeah,
that was really gross, and I just really, I like how, like, there's like only like a few people, like the doctor, a couple nurses, and the whole entire hospital, one security guard, it's like, it's nighttime. So it's the night shift. So wouldn't be anybody there. And it's a small little hospital. So it reminds me of kind of like the hospital that was in my hometown that I grew up in. It kind of, it's very creepy like that. And thinking of somebody lurking around.
You grew up in a hospital? That's cool.
I grew up in a hospital. Yeah.
Awesome.
Did I say that? Okay. Yeah. So I love it. And we watched it last night, and I never get tired of watching it. Lance Guest is in it, who's in The Last Starfighter.
Oh yeah.
One of the ambulance drivers. There's like 2 ambulance drivers. The other guy's kind of a sleaze bag, but Lance Guest kind of likes Laurie, and he kind of is watching out for her, and it just, like, I remember when I saw, even seeing Terror in the Aisles, they put a lot of Halloween Part 2 in Terror in the Aisles because of her, the whole scene of the elevator. That we should just talk about, like, the creepiest scene, like, in the movie, because like when she is running, she got like a broken ankle, and she's that scene where she's running and she's going to get on the elevator, and he's just coming, he's walking in super slow motion, and she's trying to push the button really, really hard to get the elevator to come down. And you're watching it come down like 2, 1 to the basement, and then she gets in, and then, she goes to push the button to shut the door, and his knife goes like right in there, and he's like poking at the door, but it closes. But it's like not like he couldn't pry open the elevator door, But it's just intense to me. That scene is intense. And then the scene where she gets outside of the hospital, like runs out of the hospital once she realizes like he's in there killing people, and she runs out. She hides in the back of a car, and then Dr. Loomis shows up, and actually the nurse from part 1 shows up, but I didn't recognize her. It took me a couple times of watching that to actually figure out who she was. And even Dr. Loomis says, "Oh, I didn't recognize you," because she's the nurse from the very beginning scene of part 1, the original, where, they go to the mental institution, and he climbs up in the car, and he smashes his hand through the window and tries grabbing her, and she's in her nursing uniform, so she's in regular clothes in part 2, but it's the same woman. And she says there's information that they never told anybody about, and she's there with a but like a secret file on Michael Myers, and tells them stuff about him that makes this all tie together of why he's after Laurie Strode. So, but then during that scene, when they show up, she shows up with a police officer and Dr. Loomis. They all show up at the hospital, and Laurie's outside in the car. And then so she slides out of the car, and she's crawling across the hospital parking lot, like trying to like yell help. And she is so terrified that she can't even speak. That gives me the creeps, because it's like that being so afraid that you can't even scream. That's horrible, and then Michael Myers is outside, and then she finally gets up and starts to run back, and she's beating on the door, and she can't get back into the hospital, so, but I really like the cast. It does not feel dated at all to me, because everybody in the movie is kind of like wearing a costume, like they're wearing nurses' uniforms, or they're wearing like an ambulance driver outfit, and it's like, so it could be, it does, you don't really, see them in regular clothes so much that it, you realize it's 1981, so, I love it. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. How many Halloween movies are there now?
Oh, well, do you count part 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's Halloween movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. 1, 4, 5, 6. I know 7, 8. Maybe because they quit numbering them, So then they went to like Resurrection, and then it went back to Halloween. Then it went back to Halloween Kills, and then it was, so if you count all those, I don't know, maybe 12. I don't know how many, because you got to add in all the ones that don't have a number.
Yeah.
I don't like the new ones, so I mean, and we're sticking with the 70s and 80s, so is you got an issue with your tape?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so that's what my costume is. I'm Halloween with the pumpkin and Halloween, and then I've got a number 2. So that's
You gotta take a number 2. What? Okay, we'll take a break. Lisa's got to take a number 2. Is that what she said?
Got to take 2.
Oh, take 2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, let me ask you this: which was your favorite Halloween movie?
I think it's part 2.
It is part 2.
I
Out of all of them, ever made.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love Halloween the original, and I always watch it this time of year, and I haven't watched it yet, and I need to watch it because
I thought you told me part 3 was your favorite.
It's kind of my favorite.
It's your other favorite.
No, it's not. Like, I know everybody tells me that. It's like every movie's your favorite, but no, like part 3, I think like it's just a really good movie. I don't know if I don't think I ever said it was my favorite because I like the original too, and Halloween 3 really doesn't have anything. It does not have anything to do with the other 2. So, but I love it. I watch it every year too. And I need to get on the ball because I haven't. It doesn't. I feel like I'm running out of time. Like there's just no time to like watch all my movies. And there's tons of movies. Even like you gave me Fade to Black. I haven't watched it yet, but I've been like dying to watch it for before Halloween's here. So I got to get it in. So we should just have a favorite Halloween like post on our page so that everybody can just name their favorite 70s or 80s Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Just tell us, because if there's a movie out there that is a scary movie that I haven't seen, I like to look them up and watch them, find them, because I've actually found a lot of movies through different people that I haven't seen and have been buying them, to watch, year after year. So, and your movie, I have it and I've never seen it. So, but it seems like a really good pick to me because it's
I mean, just the title of it goes right in with Halloween. Trick or Treat from 1986. Now, I don't want people to confuse this with the Trick or Treat movie from later years, which was like an anthology that had a bunch of short films in it. This has nothing to do with that. This was from 86.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
It's body time!
Rock and roll will never die. At least not this Halloween.
I've heard of raising spirits from the dead by incantations, right?
Yes.
I did that by playing the record backwards.
You're kidding.
Sammy Kerr. He's a rock and roll nightmare.
I am a big fan of yours. I've got all your records. Shut up!
You're the bay, and they is you.
This message is meant for me.
How can you listen to this stuff? Shut it off! Shut it off!
What have you done to your stereo?
I wanted a new one.
Sammy Kerr. His fans won't let him die. He won't let them live.
You should be loyal to your hero. Make it turn on you.
Trick or treat.
Looks like we better check out the party punch.
In fact, there's other releases of it. Instead of Trick or Treat, they called it The Ragman, and it has nothing to do with that other Ragman movie that came out. This is a Halloween film. Came out in 86. Okay, and the first thing I want to say about it is it was directed by Charles Martin Smith. If you know who that is, he's an actor, and now he's writer, director, producer, actor. But you would know him as Toad from American Graffiti. The little skinny, bald, short, guy. They called him Toad. He had the thick glasses.
He was Candy Clark?
Yeah, American Graffiti.
Okay.
He played in American Graffiti 1 and 2. He played in the Buddy Holly story.
Yeah, okay. Me and my aunt's visiting here from Arizona, and my aunt and I were just talking about that guy like 2 nights ago because I think he's the one that's in this movie called Never Cry Wolf.
Yeah, that was where you cut me off. I was going to say Never Cry Wolf, Untouchable, Starman. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay, then I knew the right guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He directed this movie, and he did a fabulous job. This was a really cool movie. And it stars Mark Price. You know him as Skippy from Family Ties. He was a star of this movie. And anyway, oddly enough, I had already picked this movie for us to discuss, but then yesterday I actually got to meet Mark Price in person. I was near Houston at a Comic-Con, and he was one of the guests there. So I got to talk to him about this film yesterday, and he told me he was 17 when he made it.
And
he loved it. He loved everything about it. But anyway, now he does stand-up comedy. He writes a lot of comedy shows and produces them. He does a podcast and a website. He's done shows for HBO and Disney, and right now he's producing a TV series in the UK that stars Patrick Stewart from Star Trek. But anyway, he stays very busy, but he's really big time known in the world of comedy. But in this movie, his character's name's Eddie, who's nicknamed Ragman, and he's just an outcast and a loner. It's set in high school. He's a high school kid. But I'll tell you, Gene Simmons of Kiss does a cameo role in this movie. He plays a radio DJ at a rock station, and he wears a cowboy hat. And he said that he was originally offered the role of the villain in this movie, but he turned it down. And he would rather do this smaller cameo role. And he said the reason why was Wolfman Jack was his idol growing up. So he wanted to kind of model this character that he did off of Wolfman Jack. He kind of talked like him and acted like him. But it was cool seeing Gene Simmons in this movie. And also Ozzy Osbourne has a reoccurring cameo throughout the movie. He shows up on TV screens as a evangelist, a televangelist. He's preaching against rock and roll and the dangers of letting your kids listen to rock and roll, which is hilarious coming from Ozzy, you know. I thought that's pretty cool that both of them are in here. But anyway, just to give you a little gist of what the film is about. It's okay, Mark Price's character, he's an oddball at school. He's a loner, and everybody's seen people like this in their high school. You might even been a person like this. You know, all you care about is heavy metal, and you dress it, and you sing the songs, and you blast it out of your radio in your car, and you draw the logos for the bands on your notebook. You wear goth, and you're a loner. Okay, you don't have any friends. We've all known those kind of people. Okay, well that's the kind of character he plays. Okay, and he's in this high school, and all of the jocks and stuff, they bully him real bad. They'll make fun of him. They'll shove him in lockers. They'll knock his books out of his hand. They'll trip him in the lunchroom. They'll do anything. They just torment his life to the point where he just can't take it. All he wants to do is go home, lock himself in his room, and turn up the rock and roll. And that's his escape, is rock and roll. And that's all his life is about, is this heavy metal. But the main guy that he almost worships, this guy named Sammy Kerr. And he's kind of like a heavy metal idol that these rockers just worship. He's like in the best group and everything, but sells millions of records. He's just if you look at him, picture of him, I mean, he personifies heavy metal. He's got the chains and the black leather and the ripped up clothes and the heavy the big hair and everything. Okay, but he's Sammy Kerr. And if you go into Mark Price's bedroom in this movie, his whole bedroom, it's nothing but Sammy Kerr posters and record albums and cutouts of magazines where they interviewed Sammy Kerr. And that's his life, is this one guy, Sammy Kerr. He just worships him and listens to his records and everything. And his mom's always yelling at him, you know, turn down the music, you go do this, take the trash out, all that. So she's always hassling him. He just wants to be left alone and listen to Sammy Kerr. That's all he wants out of life, okay? Well, anyway, a big twist in the movie, a big curveball. While on tour, Sammy Kerr is killed in a hotel fire. He burns to death in a hotel fire. And this just devastates Mark Price's character. He can't cope with anything. He's just moping around, and he's still getting bullied, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But now that his idol's dead, you know, he's just heartbroken. Now, he does have a girl that's interested in him, and all the jocks hate that fact because she's pretty, and the main jock kind of likes her, but she likes Mark Price's character. So they're always picking on her too now, and it's just bad. But he locks himself in his bedroom. And you remember back in the 80s when we heard about backwards masking on records?
You mean the messages that were supposed
Yeah,
to be?
you could play it backwards.
Yeah.
It would say like demonic messages.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, he accidentally stumbles onto this. He's got Sammy Kerr's last album that was just released like days after he died. So he finally gets it, and he goes in his room and he, rips it out of the cover, puts it on there, and he's playing it. And I forgot exactly what happened that he learned. He moved his hand or something, and it went backwards, and he heard something. So he starts doing his hand, playing it backwards, and it's Sammy Kerr talking to him from death. And he starts communicating with his heavy metal idol, Sammy Kerr. And he becomes friends with him, and they start talking. And now, when he gets out of school, instead of running home to listen to music, he runs home to talk to his best friend, Sammy Kerr, through backwards masking. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of strange. But what happens is Sammy Kerr tells him some things to do. And Sammy Kerr goes after, through supernatural means, he starts punishing the bullies at school that pick on this guy. He does stuff to them through supernatural, like one of them in the shop, some machineries come on and hurts one of the students, and somebody else, they fall or something falls on them. But all this stuff starts happening to all of his enemies, Mark Price's bullies and stuff. So anyway, Mark Price is really digging that because he's getting even with everybody that's been picking on him. So Sammy Kerr tells him that there's a way to bring him out of the record and back into life, and he could have him as a friend and a protector and all that. So he starts doing these steps to bring him back out of the record, and he does. But when he comes out of the record, he's horrible. He's like half burned. He's all charred from the fire, but it's not really him. It's like a demon, like it looks like him, But anyway, it's too late when Mark Price realizes what he's done. It's too late. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. He's free, and he's just like it becomes a slasher movie. This heavy metal demon is running around killing people in the town. Okay, and he's got a plan. It reminds me of Carrie. Remember how they were at the prom and the gym gets locked and she starts killing everybody in the gym? Well, he's playing this concert Halloween night in the high school gym, and all the kids from school are there. And his plan is to kill everybody in the town on Halloween night. But I won't tell you what happens, but he does team up with Gene Simmons, and they come up with a plan to stop Sammy Kerr. And I'm gonna leave it there. You'll find out, watch it. It's a great movie. It's really cheesy, it was an 80s cheesy horror film. Okay. A lot of fun. You'll probably grin ear to ear while you're watching it because of all the cheese, but I highly recommend it. And when I was talking to Mark Price, we were talking about how it's never come out on Blu-ray, but he said it was supposed to come out this Halloween on Blu-ray, but it missed some production stuff. But he said now it's slated for around Christmas, which, that sucks,
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy it on Christmas. They won't buy it on Halloween. But anyway, it should be out on Blu-ray by the end of the year. So, it's really cool.
Well, I never knew what it was about, actually. And now that you talked about it, now I will go get it and go watch it later, because
definitely
I thought I knew Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne were in it, but I kind of thought they played themselves in it. I didn't know they played characters. And who plays the Sammy Kerr person in the movie? Do you know?
I can't remember his name. He died a few years back. I can't remember who he was.
Was he a rock and roller in real life?
He's just an actor.
Just an actor? Okay.
Yeah. I looked him up a while back. He only played in a couple other movies.
Alice Cooper's not in this, is he?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like a cool story. I kept thinking it was mainly like rock and roll, and I don't know what I pictured it to be. I just didn't feel like a story there, but like now that you've actually said like what the storyline is, I kind of really am interested in watching it. It sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a supernatural slasher movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
With a whole heavy metal theme to the whole movie.
Yeah. When you started talking about it, like, and it didn't sound like there was any Halloween or why it was called Trick or Treat, even like what you
Well,
know.
yeah, it all culminates to that one rock concert on Halloween night where he's going to
Okay.
kill everybody. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so then now it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very cool.
yeah, very cool. You highly recommend it. So okay, so then you're saying that it's not out on Blu-ray, because I was going to give away either a DVD of Trick or Treat or a DVD of Halloween Part 2. But if there's Blu-ray versions of them, and anybody wants to send us a private message and put down the word Trick or Treat, you know, they can have a choice between either one of them. And if they want to wait for it to come out on Blu-ray, you know, we can, you know, send it later when it comes out. So, but you have to go onto our Pop Ninja Facebook page and then send us the word Trick or Treat for Halloween. And you can win a treat. So yeah, cool. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's our Halloween show. Usually we have a couple more people on here, but it was kind of last minute, so we kind of rushed it. But this is it. Hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for listening to our podcast. And I just want to say, as we sign off, I want to leave you with a final thought. Here we go.
Are people in costume yelling trick or treat? But when